The rain pounded against the fog-laden windows of the darkened room as Sir Richard Hollingsworth reclined in his high-backed leather armchair, engrossed in the latest crime novel by his favorite author. The crackling of the fire provided a comforting ambience, drowning out the sinister sound of the storm outside. But this evening, the storm would not be the only threat to Sir Richard's tranquility. As he turned the page, a discreet knock echoed through the chamber. Sir Richard glanced up, mildly annoyed at the interruption. His butler, Mr. Collins, stood at the threshold, holding an ornate envelope in his gloved hands. "Apologies for the disturbance, Sir Richard," Mr. Collins said, his voice exuding an air of formality. "This just arrived for you." Sir Richard accepted the envelope, noticing the lack of a return address. The heavy parchment felt luxurious in his hands, and he marveled at the elegant calligraphy that adorned the front, displaying his name. "Who delivered this, Collins?" Sir Richard inquired. His curiosity piqued. "It was left by a mysterious gentleman, sir," the butler replied. "He insisted that it be placed directly in your hands and departed before I could gather any further information." The intrigue surrounding the letter's origins captured Sir Richard's imagination. With an air of anticipation, he carefully broke the wax seal and unfolded the note contained within. "Dear Sir Richard Hollingsworth," the letter began, its words etched with an enigmatic charm. "I have a proposition that may pique your interest. I invite you to visit my ancestral estate, Ravenscroft Manor, nestled in the heart of the English countryside. There, an event of considerable importance shall unfold, one that promises to test your intellect and unravel the darkest secrets hidden within its walls. Your presence is expected at 7 o'clock on the eve of the coming Sunday. Please be punctual." A sense of trepidation mingled with Sir Richard's curiosity. What manner of event awaited him at Ravenscroft Manor, and who was this enigmatic host? The letter provided no further clues, leaving him with more questions than answers. Unable to resist the allure of a mystery, Sir Richard determined to accept the invitation. He summoned Mr. Collins and requested his assistance in making the necessary preparations for his journey. As the carriage trundled through the rain-soaked countryside, Sir Richard watched as the landscape transformed before his eyes. Lush green hills gave way to ancient woodlands, and the mist-clad trees seemed to whisper secrets amongst themselves. The winding road led him deeper into the heart of the mysteries that awaited. Finally, Ravenscroft Manor emerged from the thick shroud of fog, a sprawling edifice, its ivy-covered stone walls imbued with an air of faded grandeur. The sight was hauntingly beautiful, yet there was an unmistakable aura of foreboding that hung in the air. Sir Richard stepped out of the carriage, his boots sinking into the wet gravel of the driveway. As he approached the grand entrance, the heavy wooden doors creaked open, revealing an impeccably dressed butler. "Welcome, Sir Richard Hollingsworth," the butler intoned, his voice carrying a mixture of servitude and veiled intrigue. "Please, follow me." With measured steps, Sir Richard entered the mansion, guided by the butler through a labyrinthine corridor adorned with ancestral portraits, their gaze seeming to follow his every move. They arrived at a lavishly decorated drawing room, its walls adorned with dark tapestries depicting scenes of a bygone era. The room's sole occupant, a tall and enigmatic figure, stood by the fireplace, his face concealed in shadows. His voice was a soft and velvety baritone when he spoke. "Welcome, Sir Richard," he said, his tone rich, with an undeniable air of mystery. "I am Count Ferdinand Ravenscroft, the owner of this estate. Thank you for accepting my invitation." Sir Richard extended his hand, but the Count made no move to accept the gesture. Instead, he began to speak, his words deliberate and laden with intrigue. "Sir Richard, I have brought you here because you possess a reputation as a man of unparalleled deductive abilities," Count Ravenscroft said, his piercing eyes fixed on Sir Richard. "In this manor, a most heinous crime has taken place, a murder most foul. It is your task to unravel the truth, to decipher the enigmatic puzzle that has claimed the life of one of our guests." Sir Richard's mind reeled. The invitation had hinted at a mysterious event, but a murder. The stakes had suddenly escalated, and the weight of the task at hand bore down upon him. There was a glimmer of excitement in his eyes, for here was a challenge that tested his acumen to the very core. "I am honored, Count Ravenscroft," Sir Richard replied, his voice steady despite the racing of his heart. "I shall do my utmost to unravel this dark secret and bring the guilty party to justice." The Count nodded, a flicker of satisfaction in his eyes. "Excellent, Sir Richard. The other guests will be arriving shortly, and they too will attempt to solve the mystery. Remember, the true perpetrator is among us, hiding behind a mask of deception. Trust no one." With those words hanging in the air, Count Ravenscroft withdrew, leaving Sir Richard alone to contemplate the grim task ahead. As the mansion filled with the arrival of the other guests, each with their own secrets and motives, Sir Richard found himself thrust into a web of lies and intrigue. The Estate of Shadows had become a stage for a macabre dance, where everyone was both a suspect and a detective, weaving their own webs of deception, while striving to uncover the truth. As the night wore on, tension simmered, and alliances formed and fractured. Clues were uncovered, and secrets were laid bare. But the true identity of the murderer remained elusive, concealed within a labyrinth of motives and alibis and alibi. In the depths of the long-forgotten library, Sir Richard pieced together the fragments of the puzzle. The answers were there, hidden within the pages of history and intertwined with the lives of the guests. But it was not until the climax, amidst the thunderous storm that mirrored the turmoil within the manor, that Sir Richard would expose the truth. With a flourish of revelation, Sir Richard revealed the identity of the killer, unmasking the darkness that had shrouded Ravenscroft Manor. Justice prevailed, but not without a heavy toll. Truths were unearthed that shattered illusions, and the line between innocence and guilt blurred. As the storm finally abated, and the rain ceased its relentless assault on the windows, Sir Richard Hollingsworth emerged from the shadows, forever changed by the events that unfolded within the Estate of Shadows. In the end, he had prevailed, but at what cost?